I stared at the credit card notification on my phone, my hands shaking as I read the charge again. Aspen Ridge Luxury Spa and Resort, $5,000. The same hands that had just finished sewing patches onto our 7-year-old Tommy's worn-out winter coat from last year. "Mommy, it's still too small," Emma, our 5-year-old, said from the doorway, drowning in her brother's patched-up hand-me-down coat from 2 seasons ago. Behind her, 3-year-old Lucy wore a coat we found in a church donation bin, the zipper broken and the sleeves frayed. "I know, baby," I whispered, quickly wiping my eyes before they could see the tears. "We'll figure something out." The irony wasn't lost on me. Just yesterday, Mike had stood in our kitchen, waving our household budget spreadsheet like a weapon. "Sarah, we've talked about this. We can't afford new winter coats right now. The kids have perfectly good ones from last year." "They've outgrown them, Mike," I'd argued, showing him how Tommy's wrists stuck out 3 inches from his sleeves. "It's going to be below freezing next week. I only need $200. $200? He'd scoffed, straightening his designer tie, the one his sister Jessica had bought him for party. "That's groceries for 2 weeks. Besides, there's always Goodwill." Now looking at the spa resort charge, I felt something inside me finally snap. After 8 years of marriage, I'd become an expert at stretching dollars, at making do, at putting the kids' needs first. Meanwhile, Mike and his sister maintained their weekly sibling dinner dates at upscale restaurants, their matching luxury car leases, their joint country club membership, all while I clipped coupons and shopped at discount stores. "Mommy," Emma tugged at my sleeve. "Can we have hot chocolate? I'm cold." "Of course, sweetie." I forced a smile, leading them to the kitchen. As I heated milk on the stove, no fancy coffee maker in this house. Despite Mike's 6-figure salary, my phone buzzed with another notification. "Can't wait for my birthday spa weekend. Best brother ever." Jessica's Instagram post showed her perfectly manicured hand holding up the gift certificate, our joint bank account balance dropping by the minute in the background. The same bank account Mike had given me grief over when I'd spent $30 on art supplies for the kids' homework projects last month. As the children sipped their hot chocolate, I opened my laptop and checked my secret Etsy shop's balance. What had started as a desperate attempt to earn extra money by selling handmade children's clothes had grown into a steady stream of income, one Mike knew nothing about. The shop now brought in enough to cover groceries and basic necessities, which was fortunate since Mike's budget for household expenses hadn't increased in 3 years, despite his 2 promotions. "Look, Mommy," Lucy held up her drawing. "It's us in the snow." The crayon figures wore bright-colored coats, red for Tommy, purple for Emma, pink for Lucy, dreams drawn in Crayola, while their father spent their coat money on his sister's spa weekend. My phone buzzed again. A message from Mike. "Working late tonight. Having dinner with Jess to finalize her birthday weekend plans. Don't wait up." Of course he was. Their Thursday dinner tradition hadn't been broken once in 8 years, not even when Tommy had the flu or when I was in labor with Lucy. But God forbid I ask for money for essential winter clothes. I checked my Etsy balance again. $1,800. Not just from clothes now, but from the financial literacy blog I'd started 6 months ago, teaching other mothers how to build emergency funds without their controlling spouses knowing. The irony wasn't lost on me. "Mommy, can we play outside when it snows?" Emma asked, her face bright with childhood excitement. "Yeah, can we build a snowman?" Tommy chimed in, pulling his too small coat tighter around himself. I looked at my 3 children, their hopeful faces glowing in the afternoon light, and made a decision. Opening my laptop again, I pulled up my secret email account, the one I created when I first started suspecting things weren't right with our marriage. "Dear Mr. Patterson," I typed to my lawyer, "I'd like to proceed with filing those papers we discussed." The doorbell rang, interrupting my typing. Through the front window, I saw Jessica's Mercedes parked in our driveway, my husband's sister clutching shopping bags from the designer stores at the mall. Auntie Jessica, the kids' choras, running to the door. My favorite munchkins. Jessica breezed in, her cashmere coat probably worth more than our monthly grocery budget. I brought presents. I watched as she distributed expensive toys, the kind I'd been told we couldn't afford for party. The kind that made my carefully sewn homemade gifts look shabby in comparison. "Sarah," she air-kissed my cheek, "you look tired. You really should try that new spa treatment I told you about. Works wonders for stress. I'll keep that in mind, I replied, thinking of the spa weekend she'd be enjoying courtesy of our family budget. Oh, and Mike wanted me to tell you he's ordered dinner for us at La Maison tonight. Jessica continued, oblivious to the irony. Brother-sister tradition, you know how it is. He said not to worry about cooking for him. I hadn't cooked dinner for Mike in months. He was always either working late or out with Jessica. The kids and I had our own tradition now, simple, healthy meals I could afford on my secret income, followed by homework help and bedtime stories. The kids' coats look a bit worn, Jessica observed with practiced concern. You really should let Mike know they need new ones. He's so generous, I'm sure he'd. He knows, I cut her off, my voice steady. He suggested goodwill. Jessica's perfect features crinkled in confusion. But surely, I mean with his new promotion. The kids are getting new coats tomorrow, I said firmly, thinking of my Etsy balance. And some other things are changing too. Oh, Jessica perked up. Is Mike finally letting you redo the kitchen like I suggested? I smiled, thinking of the documentation hidden in my laptop, the separate bank account I'd opened, the apartment I'd already looked at. Something like that. Changes are definitely coming. As Jessica launched into a detailed description of the spa treatments awaiting her in Aspen, I watched my children playing with their new toys, still wearing their patched and borrowed coats. By this time next week, they'd have new coats, and their mother would have a new life planned, one where financial abuse couldn't masquerade as budgeting. Jessica, I interrupted her spa monologue, would you like some hot chocolate? The kids and I were just having some. Oh no, she laughed, patting her flat stomach. Do you know how many calories are in that? Besides, Mike and I are trying this amazing new juice cleanse. I poured myself another cup of hot chocolate, dropping in the mini marshmallows my children loved. Some luxuries I'd learned cost less than $2 a bag. And some costs, like staying in a marriage where children's needs came last, were too high to pay anymore. The next morning, while Mike was at his regular Saturday golf game with Jessica, I took the kids shopping, not to Goodwill, but to the department store where my Etsy earnings could buy them proper winter gear. Can I really get the blue one? Tommy asked in disbelief, trying on a down-filled coat that actually covered his wrists. Yes, we fart. I helped Emma into a purple puffer jacket while Lucy twirled in her new pink coat, complete with working zippers and intact sleeves. My phone buzzed repeatedly, notifications from the joint account. Mike was at the country club with Jessica, the charges rolling in, $200 for green fees, $180 for brunch, $150 for the pro shop. Mommy, look. Emma spread her arms, making snow angels in the air. I'm so warm. The total for 3 high-quality winter coats, plus hats, gloves, and boots came to $485. Less than a tenth of Jessica's spa weekend, but it bought something priceless. My children's warmth and their mother's awakening. When we got home, Mike's Tesla was in the driveway. He stood in the kitchen, holding shopping bags from the pro shop. Where were you? He demanded, then noticed the store bags. What's this? Winter coats, I replied calmly. The kids needed them. His face darkened. We discussed this, Sarah. We can't afford. Like we can't afford the $5,000 you spent on Jessica's spa weekend. The color drained from his face. That's different. It's her 30th birthday, and these are your children's warm bodies. I set my phone on the counter, screenshots of the credit card charges displayed. Funny how there's always money for Jessica, but never for the kids. I earned that money, he snapped, and Jessica deserves. A luxury spa weekend while your children wear donated coats? I finished. Tell me, Mike, how does that math work in your head? You don't understand family obligations, he said, his voice taking on that condescending tone I'd grown to hate. Jessica and I have a very special sibling bond. Yes, I know. I've heard it for 8 years. I opened my laptop. Just like I've heard about budgets and sacrifices and living within our means. Except those rules only seem to apply to me and the kids. Where did you get the money for those coats? He demanded. I pulled up my Etsy shop, then my blog, then my separate bank account. I earned it, every dollar. While you and Jessica were having your weekly dinner dates, I was building a business. While you were golfing, I was teaching other women how to escape financial control. You went behind my back. His voice rose. You violated our agreement about. About asking permission to spend money on necessities while you spend thousands on your sister's whims? I laughed, but there was no humor in it. No, Mike, I didn't violate our agreement. I woke up from it. Sarah, you're being dramatic. Jessica's birthday is more important than your children's basic needs. I opened another folder on my laptop. Mr. Patterson, my lawyer, finds that interesting, as does the documentation of every time you prioritize Jessica's wants over your family's needs. Mike's face went from angry to calculating. A lawyer? Don't be ridiculous. You can't afford. I can afford quite a bit, actually. I turned the laptop to show him my business earnings. Turns out when you're not spending $5,000 on spa weekends, money goes pretty far. You've been hiding money from me? His voice turned dangerous. That's financial independence, I corrected. Something you and Jessica seem to value, except when it comes to your wife and children. As if on cue, Jessica's Mercedes pulled into the driveway. She bounced in, carrying more shopping bags. Mike, they have the most amazing new golf clubs. Oh, she stopped, sensing the tension. Is everything okay? Show her the coats, kids, I said quietly. The children proudly modeled their new winter wear, their faces glowing with warmth and dignity. Oh, Jessica said again, different this time. Those look expensive. Less than your spa weekend, I noted. Less than today's golf game. Less than those clubs you're holding. Mike, Jessica turned to her brother. What's she talking about? Your brother spent $5,000 on your birthday spa weekend, I explained 2 days after telling me we couldn't afford $200 for children's coats. Jessica's perfectly maintained facade cracked slightly. But you said the household budget was tight. That's why we didn't invite Sarah to our dinner dates. The household budget was whatever he decided it was, I said, pulling out more documentation. While the kids wore donated clothes, you two maintained quite a lifestyle. Mike stepped forward, his voice tight. Sarah, you're embarrassing yourself. No, Mike, you've done that quite thoroughly on your own. I handed Jessica a printed spreadsheet. Here's 8 years of your brother's spending. Left column is what he spent on you. Right column is what he allocated for his children's necessities. Jessica's manicured hand trembled as she read the numbers. Mike, this can't be right. You said. He said a lot of things, I finished. Just like he'll say a lot of things to the divorce court about why he prioritized his sister's spa weekends over his children's winter coats. The room fell silent except for the rustle of new coat material as the kids shifted uncertainly. Mommy? Lucy's small voice cut through the tension. Can we still play in the snow when it comes? I looked at my children in their new coats, then at my husband and his sister with their matching expressions of disbelief that their carefully maintained power dynamic was crumbling. Yes, baby, I smiled. We can play in the snow. In fact, we're going to be playing in a lot of new places soon. 6 months later, I watched from our new apartment window as snow fell over the city. Inside, the kids played in their warm winter gear, last season's coats now properly passed down through a local charity, my suggestion for families who truly needed them. Dinner's ready. I called setting out the meal I prepared with our now comfortable grocery budget. No more stretching dollars until they screamed. Can we have hot chocolate after? Tommy asked, helping his sisters into their seats, a new family tradition we'd established in our new life. Of course, I smiled, thinking of how much had changed since that day in the kitchen with Mike and Jessica. The divorce proceedings had been enlightening for everyone involved. Jessica, confronted with years of documented financial disparity, had finally seen her brother clearly. The country club membership was canceled. By her. The matching luxury cars returned. The weekly sibling dinners replaced with family therapy sessions she now paid for herself. My phone buzzed with an Etsy notification. Another order for my increasingly popular children's clothing line. The business that had started as survival had blossomed into success, featured in parenting magazines and financial empowerment blogs. Miss Thompson from next door invited us to build a snowman tomorrow. Emma announced, properly warm in her new winter gear. Can we go? Yes, after your morning classes, I answered, thinking of the proper prep school they now attended, funded by my business earnings, not dependent on their father's conditional generosity. Mike had fought the divorce, of course. Claimed I was unstable for hiding money, manipulative for documenting his spending. But financial abuse leaves a paper trail, and his priorities were clear in every spreadsheet, every bank statement, every credit card bill. The judge had been particularly interested in the contrast between children's necessities and luxury spa weekends. "Mommy, look." Lucy held up her drawing. Our new apartment, snow falling, 3 children in colorful coats building a snowman. No more stick figures and borrowed jackets. My phone buzzed again, an email from my publisher. The book deal was final. Financial Freedom, A Mother's Guide to Breaking Free from Economic Abuse. The advance would pay for the kids' college funds. The doorbell rang. Jessica, surprisingly alone. Since the divorce, she'd been working with a therapist to understand her role in the family dynamics. "I brought hot chocolate," she said quietly, holding up a grocery bag. The good kind with real chocolate and marshmallows. The kids ran to hug their aunt, a different aunt now, one who brought thoughtful, modest gifts and spent time rather than money. Mike signed the final papers, she told me while the children enjoyed their cocoa. He's getting help. Finally. I nodded, remembering the man who thought designer ties were essential, but children's coats were luxuries. "I'm sorry," Jessica said, "not for the first time. I should have seen it. All those years." "We all see what we're ready to see," I replied, watching my children play in their warm clothes, in their safe home, with their future secure. Jessica pulled out an envelope. "The spa weekend refund. I canceled it. It should go to the kids' fund." "Keep it," I said. "Put it toward your therapy. Breaking cycles takes resources." Through the window, snow continued to fall. Somewhere across town, Mike was probably calculating his reduced budget, learning to live without the control that had once defined him. His weekly golf games replaced with supervised visitation, his sibling dinners with co-parenting classes. "Your blog helped Mrs. Chen next door leave her husband," Jessica mentioned. "I saw her yesterday, shopping for her kids. Actually shopping, not just looking." I smiled, thinking of all the women finding their strength, their financial independence, their way out. "We're building snowmen tomorrow," Lucy told her aunt. "Real ones, not just drawings." "With real warm gloves," Hema added, holding up her mittened hands. Jessica blinked back tears, understanding the layers of meaning in a child's simple statement. As the evening wound down, I packed thermoses of hot chocolate for tomorrow's snow play. No more hiding money in coffee tins, no more stretching meals to cover expenses, no more choosing between warmth and submission. "Next winter," Jessica said as she prepared to leave, "let me take the kids shopping for their coats. As their aunt, not as what I was before." I looked at my children, warm and safe, free from the burden of adult financial games. We'll see. Right now, they have everything they need. And as the snow fell outside our warm apartment, I thought about cycles broken, lessons learned, and the true cost of standing up for what matters. Sometimes it takes a winter coat to expose the cold truth about the people we trust with our lives. My phone buzzed one last time, another woman reaching out through my blog, seeking warmth in her own winter of discontent. Tomorrow I would help her find her way to spring. But tonight we would drink hot chocolate and watch the snow fall, properly clothed in both winter gear and dignity.